Honda made some big announcements at the 2018 Auto Expo, and the promise of bringing 3 new cars this year was the biggest of them all. The Amaze is the most relevant in volumes terms and is here. The CR-V will be the next, and the Civic will follow early next year. So, on to the incoming CR-V then.
And it's a nameplate that we are all very familiar with, the CR-V. In fact, ever since its launch, more than 70,000 units have been sold in India. No wonder Honda knows how popular this one is, which is why we get the 5th generation model in India 5 years after the 4th generation was launched. And it retains most of the elements that were quintessentially CR-V. So it carries forward a lot from its predecessors, but has a lot more to offer as well, like that big flashy grille that you see right up front. And there's this one strong character line which moves from the front bumper right up to the rear, making it look absolutely beautiful. There's also these bulges on the bonnet and the plastic cladding all around, which adds to the muscle of the car. There are also LED headlamps, LED DRLs and LED fog lamps, all of which are standard. And there's a lot of chrome though thrown around, and it might not be handsome to look at, but it does have road presence.
And the kingdom of crystal skull rear roofline and D-pillar are gone, thank God. The new CR-V is longer by 47mm than its predecessor. Most of that's in the wheelbase, longer by 40mm. And this should translate into more space. But does it?
Frankly, if I would have to answer that question right now in this position, I would say no, because there's no knee room here at all and headroom is a bit of a problem. However, what Honda has done is this. Yeah. You can just push it at the back. Even this seat, in fact, pushes behind, and you can enjoy a lot of space right here. You also have the center armrest and the rear AC vents, and of course 2 charging points right here. Overall, the space that you get here, thanks to what Honda has done, is better than most of the cars in that segment.
There's now an additional row added to the car, making the CR-V a 7-seater. But that's only on the diesel. The 5-seat version will be available on the petrol. That additional row though, how usable is it?
For me, as you can see, I'm stuck here in the 3rd row again. And I think I should really stop getting into the 3rd row of cars, because frankly it's not my cup of tea, and I think I'll have to ask Rakesh to help me out here again. However, as you can see, my knees are already touching here, and really this space is for 2 adults on a very short trip, or 3 kids or 2 kids at the maximum. What Honda has managed to do is make this seat reclining as well. So you just pull onto one of these handles, yeah, and you move back. So that does bring a bit of relief. However, you don't gasp for air in this row, because a total of 10 AC vents have been put in the CR-V. 4 at the front, 2 in the 2nd row, and 4 on top here. So all this has been made to make the seat more comfortable for passengers.
There's good luggage space too. With all the 3 rows up, there's 150 litres on offer. With the 3rd row flat down, there's 473 litres, while there's 936 litres on offer with the 2nd and 3rd row down. There's added comfort in the features that the CR-V has to offer.
Now at the center of this infotainment system sits this 7-inch touchscreen system, which has everything that you want. You have a radio, you have smartphone connectivity as well, and also hands-free connectivity. But there's another thing that actually grabs your attention, is that instrument cluster, because it has the engine RPM as also the speedometer very clearly listed out. It's compact but extremely easy to read, especially for a driver. You have everything right from the gear changes written there, and it's really great to see how well that has been executed. This also comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which puts it right up there when it comes to its competitors.
And that's not the only department that Honda is keeping up with its competitors, because there's something more added to the kitty this time around. One that might just transform the CR-V's journey in India.
And that transformation is the introduction of a 1.6 litre diesel engine. Yes, the CR-V finally gets one, and considering that 90% of the cars in that segment actually have diesels, well, this one was a move that was predicted earlier. The diesel engine gets an aluminium block with parts like the crankshaft, the piston, and even the connecting rods, all made of lighter material, so there's less friction. It gets a single turbo, and power output is 118 brake horsepower, while torque is rated at 300 Newton meters, and that is available from 2000 RPM, over 2000 RPM, so to say. There's a 9-speed gearbox on offer, and 9-speed gearbox means there are 9 gear ratios, so it has the flexibility to basically get acquainted with your driving style, and you can just cruise all day long in this car and it won't complain at all. Of course, there are paddle shifters as well, which actually react very well to your inputs and is a breeze when it comes to shifts.
The torque kicks in at around 2500 RPM and the engine has a good mid-range. Overtaking too is no problem because the 9-speed transmission makes sure that you have the power at your disposal and you enjoy your time behind the wheel.
Now you'd think that with an aluminium block there'll be a lot of clunking and the engine will be a bit noisy. Well, that's not the case here. The NVH levels are very much in check, and yes, there is a bit of engine noise, but that's when it's idle. Once the revs build up, that's when the noise too smoothens out.
The all-new 9-speed automatic transmission with a push-button electronic gear selector is a great addition. You have separate buttons to select drive, neutral and park, and reverse is also engaged by pushing down another button. It's all very well managed ergonomically speaking and very user-friendly. There's also petrol variant on offer, and that's a 2-litre engine which produces 152 brake horsepower, and it's available only with the 2-wheel drive system. But the CVT makes for a smooth ride, and the option is a welcome one for all those who still want a petrol CR-V. However, we didn't get a chance to drive it extensively, and that's a review for a separate date. But the biggest talking point, of course, has to be the ride quality, something that the CR-V has been known for.
And it's still great. It might have grown in proportions, but still manages to crease out all those undulations of the road with ease. In fact, it even reacts well to your aggressive driving stance, and it really feels completely different as a car. It feels more compact when you're here at the steering wheel. It's not an off-roader, though it's available in an all-wheel drive, but on bad roads, it'll definitely do a lot to make you comfortable.
The safety features on offer to put you at ease. It gets ABS with EBD, brake assist, vehicle stability assist, hill start assist, 6 airbags, ISOFIX child mounts, seat belt pretensioners, and even driver attention monitor, all of which we are told are standard. A lot has changed and a lot hasn't. The new Gen CR-V doesn't look handsome, but still reminds you of the legacy. Yet, there are enough and more changes to make it relevant and competitive. It's still an absolute joy to drive, and the addition of a diesel adds a whole new target audience to the kitty. The fact that Honda plans to assemble the CR-V in India hints at aggressive pricing, and come October 9, we'll know all about it. Priced right, CR-V can really help Honda establish itself as a strong contender in the premium SUV space. But the question is, with all that's on offer in the market, would you want to buy a 30 lakh CR-V? Seeing what became of the Volkswagen Tiguan in India, that question may kind of answer itself.